of Auction Academy, and I have the honor to moderate this very important conversation on behalf of GROW. And for anyone in the audience that does not know what GROW stands for, it is Global Remarketing Opportunities for Women. Now, the purpose of our panel today is not just representation. It is about, advocacy, intentionality, and progress. Our industry's origin is rooted in male dominance. We are known as a male-dominated field. And while we've made some incredible changes, gender balance and inclusive leadership beyond the 1% is still a goal to achieve. Now, the five up here joining me up here, they recognize this and they've acted on it. They've mentored, advocated, elevated, and opened doors for women in ways that go beyond a movement, a moment, and a minute. They've helped shape the tone for what allyship can and should look like. Now, let's not be confused. These men on stage, by design, are here to talk to the men in the audience. And for the women, GROW invites you to, of course, participate, but also listen. Because being within earshot of this conversation is not only reinforcement, it's encouragement when allyship sometimes feels a little thin. This is letting you know that it's happening, it's a work in progress. So stay your course of excellence. What we want to do now is just kind of warm up the audience and read you all a little bit. So both men and women, if you would, raise your hand. How many of you would agree that this is a male-dominated industry? Thank you. How many of you would agree that while still male-dominated, we've made some progress? Who believes there's still an unspoken barrier for women to advance in the highest levels of leadership, again, beyond the 1% that we see? How many of you have been hired by a woman? Wonderful. How many of you have hired a woman for a leadership role? Fantastic. Now, whether your hands were up or your hands were down, it tells a story. So think of those Q&As as we get into this conversation. But what we're going to do now is meet our panelists. We're going to do some self-intros, starting with Chad, and we'll work our way down.
Thanks, Penny. Chad Bailey, Akron Auto Auction and Value Auto Auction, past president of NAAA and past president of ServNet, and now on a bunch of committees with NAAA, continuing to try to help grow the industry. Thank you for allowing me to be on here today.
Hi everyone, Danny McNelis. I'm the Director of Auction Relationships for Nextgear Capital. I am currently the co-chair with Chad on the Education and Training Committee for NAAA. I am the chair of the IAG Membership Committee, and I'm also a proctor as well for the car certification program. Love to get involved in the industry. It's been good to me, it's been good to our company. So any way to give back and help those around us is always my MO. So thanks for having us.
I'm Jeremy Louisos. I'm Senior Vice President and co-founder of Pre-Owned Auto Logistics. I also co-chair the ARA Industry Advancement and EV Readiness Committees. And I just want to thank Penny and GROW for the opportunity. This is probably one of the coolest things I've done in the industry so far.
Great. That's a round of applause. Do that. Thank you for saying that.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dave Sutton, and I'm a Detroiter. I was born in Detroit. I have 14 years with GM, 10 years with Volkswagen, Audi, 10 years with Carfax, and now just over 5 years with Montway Auto Transport. All auto. Since 1985, I've been in the car business, so I've seen a few things. I've been super involved with the IARA, or now the ARA, in the certification thing, and if you're not car certified, I've probably harassed you at least 5 times. So happy to be here and happy to be in this group.
Hi, my name is Jim Mumford, General Manager down at Dealers Auto Auction, the Southwest in Phoenix. Glad to be here, love to support GROW, and like to see the efforts made, and hopefully we can challenge some of the men in here to step up and make it a priority in their facilities to obviously move the needle. We know this is a challenge, so we're going to put that challenge in front of you today.
Fantastic. Thank you all. Welcome. Thank you for everything that you've been doing and will continue to do for today's conversation. Allyship in this sense is personal for most. How is it not, right? So Danny, I'm going to call on you first. Share a story or experience that inspired you to become an advocate for women in our industry.
So you're asking me to share a story, so everyone get comfortable. This might take a minute. I like to tell a long story. But this one we are going to travel back to the Emerald Isle, circa about 1990. I was a wee little lad. His hair was much darker and longer. And I was about 14, 1990, and my mother, McNelis, she decided to go back to work after raising 4 outstanding children. And I was so proud of what she went back to do. It was called Equal Opportunities in the 90s. And it was for the Electricity Supply Board of Ireland. And it was just such a great lesson to learn as a 14-year-old boy, you know, trying to find your way in the world. And you see a mother who's running the house, you know, raising 4 kids that don't always do what they're told. And she went back and she led this initiative to start talking about, you know, equal opportunities for women in Ireland at that time. What pains me today, 35 years later, no prizes to anyone for guessing my age, is that we're still talking about it. You know, it's 2025 and we're still talking about this initiative that started, that's been a conversation for so long. So it is vital that we pay attention today and take something away from it, because my mother taught me to like start thinking differently and to pay attention more. So this conversation, you know, as much as it pains to have it, it's very necessary in the industry. So I look forward to talking some more about it.
So it's very authentic to you. It was part of your upbringing, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we would tease, and, you know, every time I got a chance to make a smart comment, it was always equal opportunity in the 90s. But you know, internally, it was setting me on a mindset for my professional career, but for me as a man too, is that, you know, we have to think equally for everyone. It's not just because you're a man that you get the job. It's like it's based on the talent level. Like you can't. It's the talent first, you know. And I think that's just a true story in today's industry, you know. So.
We would agree. Jeremy, I'm going to come to you next. How has a female mentor influenced your perspective on advocacy?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been fortunate to work with so many wonderful women in my career. I'll take a moment to think about the ARA before I kind of go into my work at PAL. But just briefly, there have been 3 women that kind of stand out to me that I've had the opportunity to work closely with. Jamie Carpenter has really been someone who's inspired me by her, you know, just letting your goodness shine, bringing your authentic self to bear, and sharing with real passion the industry. So I've learned a ton there. Michelle Pirog, you know, she's someone who is just pardon my French here, but just such a badass, and kicks down the door and says what she thinks, and is just get the job done. So inspiring there. And I would call out Keely Smith as well. She's someone that, if you've ever been on with her, she's asked the best questions. She's such a thoughtful listener. She's so curious, and she's really kind of led me to, you know, try to get a deeper interest in everything going on. So those are 3 folks just within ARA. But back at PAL, I started off pretty young. I've been there, you know, with Dana Rogers for you know, over 20 years now. And when I first got into the office, I worked with a woman, Anita Obi, not a name that many of you would know here. She works in our back office, but you know, we started out together. We were trying to navigate how to, you know, turn one truck into a national brand together. And you know, she taught me, I think, maybe the most valuable lesson, and one that I've learned, you know, personally around women, which is, you know, she didn't put anyone above or below anybody. She had this great sense that, you know, we're all people, and no one's better or worse, and that really that lesson is carried strong, and you know, her perspective on, you judge someone by the action, not just who their background is. I think that I've cited a number of different attributes. I don't think those are necessarily, I don't want to use stereotypes, but these are the strong lessons I've learned from women in my life, and all have made it very clear to me that there is, it's got to be equal. We have to support that effort. It's vital, and we're stronger if we have those perspectives all come to bear.
Agreed. And the first three, of course, that you mentioned, what a trinity. Agreed. Yeah, we all know them and love them, so.
Very
yes,
fortunate
agreed.
to work with them.
Danny, same question.
It's such a hard question to answer because you can spend the rest of the conference going through mentors that we've had and female mentors, and I had prepared thoughts on on what I would say, and I kind of want to pivot a little bit and recognize you. You helped me. You helped me when I was, coming into a national director role with NextGear, and nobody knew me from a hole in the wall, and you brought me into Auction Academy, and it gave us such a platform, and you've built this amazing education, just an amazing group product, camaraderie. Like we had a breakfast this morning with all the classes going back to the ancient times with Chris Angelicchio. But you've built this juggernaut of I can't even be eloquent with it, but it's helped so many. And you're doing that, and everyone can see that, but I bought into what you offered and how you've helped me get onto the national stage, and it was seeing that talent. So I first have to start there. I also had the privilege of working for 4 very, very strong leaders, each very unique in their own individual way. But the common theme that they all had was how hard they had to work just to get a glimmer of the same credit as the male counterparts that they had. And that really drove me on, because I can remember some conferences as I first got going, and people would walk up to me thinking that I was the boss. And it wasn't me, it was my boss. To the left, they would just go right past her. And I remember saying it to that person, whatever. It was a conversation, and we moved on from there. But the mentors, each of them have taught me, how to work so much harder and to do a better job, and they do such a great job themselves. I recently also had a chance, as I said, lots of mentors, and just paying attention is my thing. And I was in part of a training session with 18 amazing front office managers, one of our large independent auction groups. It was with the ServNet team. And I was sitting there and I just was in awe of what was going on. And I had an idea